at America. Fact number 1. Education USA is a U.S. Department of State network of over 430 international students advising centers in more than 175 countries and territories. Fact number 2. There are 8 Education USA centers and 10 advisors across Indonesia. 2 in Jakarta, 2 in Surabaya, 1 in Medan, 1 in Malang, 1 in Makassar, and 1 in Banda Aceh. Fact number 3. There are 2 advisors in Education USA at America Pacific Place, Jakarta. And it is the only Education USA center that is open and available every day. But we are currently going virtual. Don't worry, we can still meet you. Register for an advising appointment. It's easy. Just email us at jakarta.adamerica@educationusa.org. And we'll set up a time and date for a session. If you can't wait, then head straight to our dedicated Zoom meeting room. Our advisors are standing by every day from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Go to Zoom and enter the ID number 276.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to EdAmerica TV. My name is James, one of the e-guides here in EdAmerica, and we welcome our audience members joining us online. We hope that you're doing well and staying safe. EdAmerica is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide the space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. We have temporarily moved to a solely digital platform so that you can enjoy us from the comforts of your own home. Don't forget to leave your questions in the comment box section because our panelists will answer them for the duration of this seminar. For those of you who are joining us through Zoom, there are a couple of features that you can use to actively participate in this seminar. If you have any questions, please leave them in the Q&A box section. You can use the chat box section to say hi to the other panelists and our other participants. In this episode, we'll be having chat with Education USA at America advisors. You got accepted to a US college or university. What's next? But before we begin, let's break the ice with a little game. True or false? Johns Hopkins University shares examples of admissions essays that work on their website. Stay tuned until the end of this program because we'll be giving live shout outs to the person who answered them correctly at the end of this seminar on our Facebook Live comment. Other than that, don't forget to take a selfie and tag EdAmerica's Instagram account. Without further ado, let me introduce you to today's facilitator, Kak Veena. Hi, Kak Veena. How's it going?
Hi, James. How are you doing?
You excited?
Oh, yes, very. Thank you.
All right, then. You're welcome. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, James. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome to EdAmerica TV. But if you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Veena. I am one of the advisors for Education USA based in EdAmerica in Pacific Place, Jakarta. But as you may already know, like what James said, that we are now going virtual. But then this is also very exciting because the whole EdAmerica team, we are still here and we don't want you to miss anything regarding studying in the US. And so we have amazing topics for the past couple of weeks. And we're also going to have another interesting topics for the following weeks. And tonight is actually really my favorite. But before we just begin the whole session, I would also like to say thank you guys so much for watching us from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. It's actually very new. We are on Instagram Live right now. So if you're actually watching us from Instagram, hi guys. And of course, for some of you guys are here with me in Zoom. If you also want to move to Zoom, please go ahead and do that. The room is actually on the EdAmerica website. You need to register first. But if you want to just like stay with Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube or Instagram, please do so as well. If you have any question, please leave it in the comment box. We already have our team. Will take that questions from me later on during the Q&A session. And I have so much to share with you guys tonight. But before we start, I would like to say hi to my colleague, Santika, the other advisor in EdAmerica. But then, yes, of course, now we're actually doing the whole session from home. And Santika will basically let us know what EducationUSA is, just in case this is your first time here and you're kind of like wondering what this session is about and who we are, right? Okay, Santika.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today and welcome to all of you. And I'm hoping that we receive a lot of good news today because obviously this is about what to do next after you, receive a letter of acceptance and what you should do next, right? Veena will fill that in, and I'm here to welcome all of you, especially for those who is first timer and you're wondering what is Education USA, and I'm here to let you know that we are the U.S. Department of State. We network over 400 advising center around 170 countries or more. And in Indonesia alone, we have 8 centers and 10 advisors in total. So I will list them down, the centers and the advisor, just in case, you want to recommend someone to study, but to US, but they don't know how to start. We are a good place for you to consult and to ask questions. So we have 8 centers, 2 in Jakarta, 1 in the US Embassy, and 1 in EdAmerica in Pacific Place Mall. In the US Embassy, we have David and Iqbal. In EdAmerica in Pacific Place, obviously there's Veena and me. And we have 2 in Surabaya. In the U.S. Consulate General Surabaya, we have Husky. And then another one in Surabaya is Universitas Erlangga or Unair. There is Ambar there. And then the next one is in Medan. It's in U.S. Consulate Medan. We have Jeffrey there. So if you have any questions and you're in Medan, you can email him to ask questions. So next one, we have one in Malang in Universitas Muhammadiyah. We have Zaki there. And then the next one is Makassar. We are located in Universitas Fajar. We have Cendani there. And the last one is in Banda Aceh, Universitas Islam Negeri. The full name is Universitas Islam Negeri UIN Araniri. That's a mouthful. So we have Lilis there. Obviously, we are all there to, stand by and help you, even though this is a difficult time for all of us. We are on standby on our email. So anywhere you are in Indonesia or even outside of Indonesia, you can try to reach us through our email. Our website is www.educationusa.state.gov. You can find the centers and all of the contacts there. So we will start really quick, but I want to let you know what kind of service that we actually give out for free. And this is literally free. Like all of the service that I will mention is for free. We guide anyone who wants to study to US through the 5 steps. So the first step is actually researching your options. So if you want to start on looking what kind of programs and university to apply to. And then the second step is financing your studies. So you want to let's say you want to find scholarship, or you are looking at other funding options and you're wondering what are your options, right? You can come and discuss with us. And then the third one is completing your application. This includes Veena and me, and all of the advisors could give you input on your essay and your CV or your resume. So this is totally free, and a lot of people actually love bringing their essay to Veena and me. So we love to read that. And the step 4 is applying for your student visa, which is what today's event is going to be. And then the 5th one is preparing for your departure. Basically, anything that last things that you have to prepare before you actually go to the United States itself. So yeah, that's from the beginning until the end. And even when you are there and you come back after you graduated, we are still here for you. We have extensive network. If you would like to share, we will be happy to have you. So this is Zoom meeting. So what we'll do is you can use the chat box. And if you are watching from Facebook or other Twitter and Instagram or anything, so you can ask questions through the comment box. We will, like Veena said, we will transfer the questions and we will answer them later in the end of the session. So if you put on question, stay tuned. And meanwhile, when Veena talks, you can take notes. And I will also try to be interactive in the chat box. So if you have questions, you can let me know. And last thing is, if you would like to, ask directly to Veena, you can tell me in the chat box, and I will try to unmute you when your turn is up. All right, I think that's it from me. I'll give it back to Veena.
Thank you so much, Santika. So basically now you know who we are. We are basically everywhere. We're covering Indonesia, actually, although there are 8 centers with 10 advisors. But even though where you live, there is no EducationUSA center, don't worry, just pick the one that is the closest, or simply email us. Email me or email Santika. We are basically here for you guys. All right. So for those of you who are in Zoom, if you want to turn your video on, by all means, please do that. It's very exciting because I'm looking at the participants, and then there are some of my advisees, and I believe some of Santika's advisees as well, and those who already get accepted as well. So I would like to say congratulations. We actually have about over 30 people so far contacting us, letting us know that they already got accepted. And we actually have not email blast everyone. So usually we do that around May to basically like asking people with their updates. So that in that moment, usually we would get like a lot of emails sharing with us that they already got accepted. And so basically it's still counting. We have over 30 now, and some of you guys are actually here. So again, thank you so much for joining. I miss you guys all. But all right, so let's see. I don't have any presentation because I wanted to make it more just like discussion. I promise you I'm gonna like talk that long because I also want to allow you guys to actually, I don't know if you have any questions or you want to share. Maybe you already some of you already get accepted and you want to share with us where are you going to go, which universities, or if you're like under certain scholarship and stuff like that, please share with us. But I have like some key points here with me. Things will get a little bit more technical, so I'm going to give you like some terms that some of you might kind of like confuse, but don't worry if you want me to repeat it again. Just let us know in the chat box, or maybe we can have a chat later one-on-one. All right, because that's basically what we do now that we are going virtual. Not only we do this kind of events, but Santika and we are basically also available every day for a one-on-one advising session through Zoom. All right, and except for now, obviously, because we are currently having this session. But if you want to chat with us tomorrow, we can actually do that. We are available every day from 1 until 9 p.m. through Zoom. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take a look real quick with some of my key points here. And so yeah, basically we have a couple of advisees doing an advising with us, and those who wants to start their application for fall 2021. And I know some of you might think, really, like now? But then yeah, this is like a perfect timing for you guys to start, because this is also one of the quietest season for Education USA. So the chance for you guys to have a session with Santika and I will be very high compared to when you actually come to us close to the deadlines, because sometimes we got to the point where we have to turn people down just because everyone wants to do an advising with us, right? And this is also like a perfect timing, although with the current situation, there are actually a lot of universities that waive the standardized tests. So if you actually heard some of this, please share with us. If you heard from one or two universities who actually waive their standardized tests, you can share with us in the chat. And so before we actually start with like the whole thing that we're going to talk about tonight, I have a number of questions. We're going to do a polling because I would like to know, where are you guys watching this from, or if you already received an LOA. And I basically just want to know if you are here, still in the have a plan to study for master's degree or PhD or even maybe bachelor's degree. So it will be just like a couple of questions, and I'm going to have Santika to turn the polling on, if Santika can help me do that, and I will let you guys answer some of the questions. And I'm going to give you about a minute or so. There you go. The polling question is up. So the first question, basically, you want to know what level of degree that you want to study in the US. Is it S1, S2, S3, or maybe you're not basically planning to study in the US, you're just basically here just to see us talking. That's also fine. And then the next question is, we want to know if you are here for fall 2020. Maybe some of you already got accepted and you're actually here for fall 2020, or maybe for fall 2021, which is for next year, or maybe you're not sure when. And then the third question is, we want to know where you guys are watching this from. And we would like to know if you are actually in the Jabodetabek area or maybe outside the Jabodetabek. And let's see. We also want to know if you've ever did an advising with either Santika or myself. Either doing it in person before we're going virtual, and most of us are working from home now, or maybe doing it virtual. And last but not least, we also want to know if you guys have received the LOA. So I'm going to give you a couple of more times to answer some of these questions, and then I will share it with you guys, what some of you have answered. Again, I would like to say hi for everyone who is watching us from the other social media platform. Technically, we are everywhere, guys. We're not just in Zoom. We are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and very excited to hear that we are now is actually on Instagram Live. So we're very excited. And then again, if you have any questions, there are so many ways for you to actually get the answers. Ask now, or do an advising with us. We are in Zoom every single day. And if you want to make an appointment, it's actually not necessary. Basically, just as long as the room is open, we are available. Okay, so at least I think that's it. We can actually close the poll. Can we end the poll, Santika, and then share it with everyone here so that everyone can see? There you go. Okay. Ooh, okay. 82% of you guys want to study S2. Great. 10% of S3. I want to see that actually increasing in the next couple of weeks in our future events. We got 8% for S1. Hello there. And okay, you guys, full 2020. So I'm expecting maybe that those are people who already get accepted, and then you guys are pretty much, ready to go for fall 2020, which it's something that we're going to talk a lot about tonight, because with the current situation and all that. But we got 30% of you guys want to study for fall 2021. 72% of you guys actually watching this from the Jabodetabek area. Anybody from Bogor? I'm actually in Bogor right now in my house, but we actually have a good number of people from outside Jabodetabek, and 8% from Sumatra. Hi guys, and Papua too. Oh my goodness, and Kalimantan. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And oh my goodness, 64% of you guys actually answered that you've been done an advising with us. Oh, that's really great. And 52% of you guys said yes, that you already have the LOA. Oh my goodness, congratulations. So I'm going to stop sharing the poll, and then I'm just going to start the presentation. Something that I don't have the presentation slide, but I have like some key points here with me. All right, and again, like I said earlier, this is a perfect timing for you guys if you don't have your LOA, but then you are thinking on applying for US universities. This is like a really perfect timing to start, because like I said earlier, there are a couple of, with the current situation, there are a number of universities where they waive their standardized tests. So we're talking about GRE and GMAT and maybe number of SAT or ACT for those who want to study S1. So you definitely want to take this opportunity to actually start your application process. And although the session tonight is basically for, I'm sharing information for everyone who already get accepted, but for those of you who have not gotten acceptance yet, but then you guys actually here anyway, I love the, being, like super ahead in your study plan so that you actually know what you're going to do after you get accepted, right? But then again, congratulations for some of you guys who already get accepted, and maybe some of you have like number of questions with the current situation. If you have not shared with us, with Santika or myself, personally, that you got accepted already, please, we would like to know that. So if you can email us or maybe share with us here in the chat box, so that we can actually put your information on we move your information to our other database. So we have like a database specifically for students who already get accepted. Why do we have that? Well, because we want to let you know about our upcoming events, such as the PDO or the pre-departure orientation. We don't have the exact date yet, as we are still waiting it out with the current situation, because I really hope that we're going to have that in person in America. But just in case we can't do that, I'm pretty sure we are still going to give the PDO session through virtual. Okay, and so something that I would like to start with tonight is that please note that the U.S. Embassy is canceling the visa appointment for now. So if you want to apply for a visa, unfortunately, you are unable to do that. And the U.S. Embassy is also unable to provide a specific date at this time as to when they are going to reopen. So I know this can be very frustrating for some of you guys who are pretty much like good to go, like you get the LOA and you already get the scholarship as well, and pretty much you're good to go. But with the current situation, it's really hard to tell at this point. So I think what I can see from this situation is we just need to wait it out until the pandemic is stopped. And hopefully it's soon. I have like a good feeling for this. But yeah, but then again, this can be very frustrating because there are a number of universities that actually offer you guys to for a deferral option. If you ask me personally, would I actually take that option? I would say yes, but then I totally also understand for those of you who actually want to start as scheduled, like in fall 2020. Why is it frustrating? Because, so for example, if you don't take the deferral that the university is offered, and then like at the end, the U.S. Embassy has not opened their visa appointment yet, then it will be very chaotic, I would say. It will be very complicated. So that's also why I see more and more universities offering you guys to do deferral. So I would say it's a win-win situation at this point, whether or not you want to take that option or not. But if you ask me personally, I would actually choose the deferral for, be it spring 2021 or fall 2021. I think it's also kind of like a way for the university, because the universities, I'm pretty sure they are also not sure with the whole situation, and they're also not sure if the U.S. embassy in other countries will open anytime soon. But something that I like to share with you guys is, I get this question a lot, where people ask me how long exactly for to get like the visa, like the whole visa appointment. And it's always comes as a shock to a lot of people when I said, once you have your I-20, technically you can actually do it within like 3-4 days, because the whole process is actually really, really fast. And also something that I would like to share with you guys, especially when the U.S. embassies will open, is that the U.S. embassy actually put a slot every Monday specifically for people who wants to apply for a student visa. All right. So you don't have to worry that you're going to compete with other people with a different type of visa, because of course we all know that there are, like a lot of people wants to apply for different type of visa. But yeah, for those of you want to apply specifically for the student visa, Monday is like the specific slot. But you don't have to take Monday. You can basically take any other days that is available. All right. And so let's see, what do I have here with me? Again, if you have any questions, please let us know either in the chat box or later on during the Q&A. You can raise your hand, and then we'll allow you to unmute to basically verbally ask your question. All right. And let's see, what do I have here? Oh, actually, we also heard from some of our advisees who already get accepted with a specific scholarship. So we're talking about LPDP, that some of you shared with us that the LPDP just shared an information where they are asking you guys to ask for a deferral. So again, at this point, I think deferral would be a good option if that is mandatory by LPDP. So in a way, you can't leave anyway, right? Because if the LPDP asks you to do that, and so this is a perfect timing for you to tell the universities. How about universities that technically do not allow deferral? Can you still do that? Actually, the answer is yes, or yes and no. So let me talk a little bit about deferral. So what is deferral? So deferral means that, so let's say you get accepted for for fall 2020, for example. So a deferral means that you're asking the universities to actually put your status on hold until the following term. It can be the next term, which is spring, or can be like up to 1 year, which is the next fall 2021, right? And actually, I don't really see a lot of universities mention this deferral on their website, because they don't really actually like deferral, because they are accepting us in certain time for a reason. So if you get accepted for fall 2020, that's because they want you to start in their universities for that specific for fall 2020, right? But can you actually still ask for a deferral? The answer is yes. And do I see a lot of people get their deferral granted? I would say yes. Is there anyone who asked for a deferral but the universities said no? Also yes. So it's always depends on the universities. There are some people who kind of like shared with me that they heard from other people that if you are requesting for a deferral to university and the reason is because funding reason, it's likely that the university will say no to your deferral. So is that true? It can be, yeah. So technically, if for them, they're thinking that for some reason that you don't have a funding yet, for them it's kind of like, so why do you apply to for this specific term, right? So it makes sense that they might say no to that. However, a lot of our advisees actually applying for a certain term, but then they are asking for a deferral because they need the LOA to apply for the scholarship, like for LPDP, for example. And so in that case, a lot of our advisees, so they are aiming for the LOA first, and then they are going to ask the universities to a deferral. And then, yes, when they state the reason on why they defer, and then they basically literally said that, one of the reasons why I defer is because the funding, they will say yes, but there is like some trick on how you want to say it. So you don't want to just basically say it that, hey, please allow me to defer my program because I don't have any funding yet and I'm still looking. But if you explain it in a way that it's convinced them, by saying something, kind of like tell them a little bit about like this LPDP, because I know a lot of our advisees want to get an LOA first, because with how LPDP is, the LPDP system is, if you get an LOA from the first 15 on their list or something like that, you are, and you get the LOA from those schools, they will kind of like almost grant you I don't want to say guarantee, but your chance to get accepted or to get awarded will be very high. So if you want to explain that in the email, when you're explaining to the universities why you need a deferral, most often the university will say yes to that, because for them it's kind of like, because if you just say that, hey, look, can you defer me from next year because I'm still figuring out how I can find some fun, for them it's kind of like, so that means like we're not sure if you're going to have like fund by next year, right? But if you actually explain to them that, hey, look, this is the situation, and this is the reasons why I'm asking for a deferral, because with the timeline with the LPDP, and then you want to mention about like what LPDP is it's like a Fulbright, most competitive scholarship from the government of Indonesia and stuff like that, make it very official. Then for them it's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, now we know that if you that you have like a really good chance to get the scholarship, and then that you're going to start immediately, and for certain that you're going to start in our campus like for the following term, right? So so that's a little bit about deferral. So I know a couple of my advisees still not sure about this, because they said, Veena, but like the university like literally said on their, like when I get the acceptance letter, that they are not allowing, they don't offer any deferral, and then they're kind of like not sure if they still, if it's okay to actually contact them. And I said, yes, do that, because here's the thing, when it comes to master's degree or PhD in the US, the whole system is very terpisah. How do I say it? What is it? What is the word in English? So they are actually like on their own. They're very independent, and so they might be able to look at your case. So it's basically a case by case, right? So maybe for some other applicants or for some other students, they may not allow the deferral, but for you, probably with that kind of like explanation, they might actually allow you to give you the deferral, all right? And so let's see here. And we also have like a couple of people who did apply for a Fulbright last February, and they received an email from Fulbright saying that there is a little bit of a delay in the interview notification. I wish you guys good luck, that hopefully we can do the interview very soon. I don't think we have heard from LPDP, right, for this year's batch. If you've heard anything about it, please share with us so that everyone can also know what is the current situation for the LPDP, because we actually have a lot of our advisees who are still don't have any funding, but they are actually aiming for the LOA first. So which kind of like comes to mind what I want to talk a little bit, just in case you guys are here and don't have the LOA yet. the questions that we get a lot is a lot of people ask us whether or not you should aim for the scholarship first or the LOA first. LOA is a letter of acceptance. Well, the way, like before, like a couple of years ago, I would tell people that for me personally, I prefer to have the scholarship first. I think with very limited options on the scholarship, I like it. It's kind of like a peace of mind for me, knowing that at least I know that the funding has been secured, and then I would apply to the universities, and my chance to get to at least one university, at least it's there, right? Because there's so many universities out there in the US. But then, being realistic when it comes to LPDP, for example, because there's the LPDP regular, for example, or the LPDP targeted group. For those of you who are in the LPDP regular, technically you don't really have that many options because, for example, many options on the universities. And so a lot of people now prefer to actually get the LOA first, just because, like I said earlier, you will have a higher chance to actually get the LPDP once you give that LOA to the LPDP team. But when it comes to like Fulbright, for example, it's a complete different thing, because when it comes to Fulbright, you will want to get accepted with the Fulbright scholarship first. And then once you get awarded, basically the whole Fulbright team will help you through the application process. So the timeline for Fulbright is perfect, because of course Fulbright is for those of you who want to study in the US. So what I mean by perfect is, so for example, like if you applied last February, February 2020, that is actually, if you get accepted this year, hopefully you will depart technically by fall 2021, because so you will hear from them like around, let's say, May, June, and then June until early next year will be your application process, because we know that the deadlines for the universities is, like sometimes in as early as October all the way until like March next year. So the timeline is very, is there, but with LPDP it can be a little bit off. So that's why now I tell people that just follow whatever deadline that is the closest to you. So if you are thinking about studying in the US, and then if that was like in January, so that, February we got Fulbright, so go ahead, apply for Fulbright. And then maybe some of the universities have their deadlines like in March or April. If you still have some times, go for it. And then maybe like in July or August, LPDP is open for application, then go ahead. So just follow whatever deadlines that is like the closest, right? So that's that. And again, if you have any questions, let us know. So now for those of you who already get accepted, what is going on now? What is going to happen, right? So if you are if you're an LPDP awardee, because I heard that this news from LPDP is very new, but before we actually get a lot of questions from people, because assuming that your status is still for fall 2020, but then you're kind of like, not sure if you should do a deferral or not. But then, like I said earlier, there are a number of universities that offer the deferral. So if you have not heard anything from them yet, you may want to contact them and ask what are your options at this point. But I just want to assure you that you don't have to worry that they're going to withdraw your application. I'm pretty sure they still want you to actually be part of their community, be a student in that universities. We kind of like want to play by ear at this point. We just want to wait out the whole thing. So yeah, but then again, with like, if you are already with the LPDP, then if they really do ask you to do to ask for a deferral, then that would be the next best option, contacting the universities and then ask for a deferral. Okay. And so now let's assume that the U.S. Embassy has opened, and then you can technically apply for a visa. What will be the first few steps that you need to do, right? So there are two different types of student visa when it comes to the US. There are actually three. So there's an F1, J1, and M1, but I'm not going to talk about M1 tonight. M1 is more like a vocational program, something that is not leaning towards a degree. And we don't actually have not had any students applying for an M1, working with EducationUSA for almost 5 years now. So it's always either F1 or J1, right? F1 or J1. So they are the most common student visa, right? When it comes to Fulbright, however, you don't have any options because it will be J1. So what is J1 actually? So again, those two type of visa are the student visa, but J1 is leaning toward cultural exchange type of program. So when it comes to Fulbright, we can kind of like assume that it has some cultural exchange aspect in it, regardless the program that you want to study, that has nothing to do with cultural at all. But yeah, with Fulbright, you're going to do a J1. With LPDP, on the other hand, it can be either one, right? So a couple of years back, we received a lot of questions from people, kind of like asking, so hi Veena, I got accepted, and then basically the universities are asking for asking you to pick either an F1 or J1. So I will kind of like explain real quick about it before we move on to the Q&A session. But with F1 is the most common one. And then maybe if you've heard about OPT, it's optional practical training. So it's something that you can do after you graduate. And I think that what makes a lot of people pick F1 because for that reason. But please note that OPT it's not mandatory, by the way. You need to apply for it when you're still your status is still a student, but you are allowed to work, but only with that specific program. So for example, if your program is law, or I don't know, like engineering, for example, you can't do OPT being, I don't know, like working as a barista or something like that. So it has to be something that is related to your major, right? And you technically get 12 months of OPT, but if you are under STEM is science, technology, engineering, or math. So if you are doing, if your major is actually under this category, you actually can ask for an additional 2 years of OPT. So that will give you a total of 3 years. So then now the question is, so Veena, how about like if I'm with LPDP, because technically LPDP said that, and I need to, I need to come back. What we see so far from our students is, as long as you actually talk about it with the LPDP team, that look, so because LPDP is kind of like also like an internship in a way too. So it's not like a working visa. You're still under the student visa. So then in that case, you are the school, the LPDP will allow you, because we've seen that. We've seen a number of our advisees who already graduated, and then they actually ask the LPDP and tell them that this is the situation. I get the OPT. Can I actually do the 1 year OPT? And then most of the oftentimes the LPDP will say yes. How about Fulbright? So with Fulbright, technically you have what they call the 2 year home residency, meaning that after you graduate, you need to come back immediately to Indonesia for 2 years before you can go back to the US. But we actually also, so with J1, there's actually an AT, or academic training. It's kind of like the equivalent of OPT. And we actually heard a number of Fulbright candidates where they're actually now in the US under the AT. So it's kind of like also similar with OPT as well. And so so we got this question a lot. If you want to ask me more about like this opportunity, please let us know. But before I actually just share with you guys with more information, we can actually I would like to check if we have some questions, which I think we do, because my chat box is kept popping up. So Santika, do we actually have some great questions from our attendees?
So yes, I'm really occupied with the chat box because a lot of our participants today in Zoom are very fired up to type in their questions and everything. So I am not ready, to be honest. So here we have a lot of questions and I will open it, but it will take a few minutes. So we will try our best to answer every question, but of course, if we don't have enough time to answer your question or we missed it, which we don't, we don't mean to miss it on purpose. So please do email us if you find we don't answer your question clearly or anything. You can email us at jakarta.atamerica@educationusa.org. I will also give the Zoom ID in the chat box and this email as well. Just copy paste them just in case you need them. Okay, so now the sheet is opened. I will start with the first question. First question is, okay, we got one from the Hassan. It's how to improve faster than usual, like Veena and the advisor. So I don't get the question because this is from Instagram. So I think it's like improving English, if I'm not mistaken. How to improve faster. And you have a quick answer to this, Veena?
Well, technically, you just need to practice a lot. Come when America is open again for public, come to America and have a chat with us, or just I don't know, just like talk with us. Santika and I, we're always available. We are on Zoom. We can if you're in the plan. Start your application process. Most likely, we're going to talk in English anyway during Zoom. But yeah. So that's my short answer. But do a lot of practice because again, I think I covered this in the other session in the previously that when it comes to studying in the US, we definitely want to have like a solid English before we start the whole application process. So yeah.
Okay, we got another question. So this is the hard part of answering questions if they are not that clear or detailed. So this one is how does this work with public high school in America? I'm sorry, the question is not that clear. This is from Instagram, from Nicholas too. Please do email us if you have more detailed question because we are unable to answer incomplete question. And the next one is I want to study at USA about acting. Should I? So this one is quick answer from me. This is from RDVZ in Instagram. So yes, you can study almost anything in United States. So don't get your hopes down and do your research and come and find us. And the next one is the question from Zoom. So this is for Veena. From Satya, what are the J2 visa requirements for family? How much money should I provide in the bank statement? Okay, Veena.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about spouse or dependent visa, right? So with F1 or J1, you are technically allowed to bring your spouse or even like your children, and they will be under the category of. If for F1 will be F2, for J1 it will be J2. So what you want to know is that with J2 or F2, all the requirements will be basically the same as you. So for example, if you are applying for J1 visa, so let's say you're under the Fulbright scholarship, and then you're planning to actually bring your spouse Fulbright or not Fulbright, let's just talk about like J1 in general. If you want to bring your spouse, technically you will let the university knows, and then they are going to send you the document that is the DS 2019. So the DS 2019 will be the document that you need for you to apply for the visa. With F1, you're going to receive, after you get accepted, you're going to receive a document that is called I-20. And then if you are planning to bring your spouse or dependent with you, the university will also provide you with the I-20, and then you will going to apply for the F2 visa. So the requirements. So okay, now let's talk a little bit about the requirements for the visa itself. Hoping that the U.S. Embassy in Indonesia will open their visa appointment once the pandemic has stopped. But I would like to share with you that when it comes to applying for a visa, the following website will be very, very helpful. It's going to be your friend will be your friend for the next couple of whenever that is you want to schedule the appointment. So the website is ustraveldocs.com. I'm going to type it out in the chat box here, or if Santika can help me with that, okay. So the website is ustraveldocs.com/ID. You will definitely want to keep open that website a couple of times, because all the latest updates about the current visa appointment, when they're going to open and stuff like that, it's going to be there, right? And so with the whole visa appointment, it's very straightforward. You will need to have that document first sent from the university. So for J1 would be the DS 2019. For F1 would be the I-20. Once you have that with you, the hard copy, so they're not going to send it electronically. They're going to send it via mail. Once you get that, you are basically ready to apply for the visa itself. So you will want to open the ustraveldocs.com, and then you want to create an account there for later on for you to schedule the appointment. But before you can schedule the appointment, there are a number of things that you want to do first. So for example, the first one is you will want to pay for a SEFIS fee. Is a one-time payment for all student visa. For F1 and J1 and M1, you will have to pay for this one-time payment for service. So you will want to go to fmgfee.com for that. I know that it's getting technical, but bear with me. So you will want to pay everything online, and then it will cost about $320 for J1. All right. The good news is your dependent, if you are bringing your spouse, your wife or your husband or your children, they don't have to pay the service fee. So it's just for you who wants to do the study. So that's that, right? So once you pay that, you will need to have the proof of payment. I believe they're going to send it via email or maybe from the website, and then you want to bring that when you are applying for the visa, when you're doing the interview. So that is one. So that is service fee. That's the one thing that you need to do, right? And then after that, you will want to fill the form that is called the DS-160. All this information is in the ustraveldocs.com/ID. ID means Indonesia. So you will want to put all the information in the DS-160, and you will want to be very careful, making sure that you answer all the questions. You will want to have the visa size photo, both the hard copy and electronically, because then you will also want to upload the electronically to the DS-160 platform. Okay, so once you did the DS-160, the next step would be paying for the visa itself. There is a new fee if you are under the F1 visa. So for F1 and J1, your visa fee will be $160. But for F1, once you get your visa accepted, you will want to pay an extra 220 US dollar reciprocity fee. I don't know what it is in Indonesia yet. I can't find. We had this conversation with Santika earlier. What is reciprocity fee in Indonesia? But so that is like a new fee. They just recently have that. So that's that. Once you have all this, once you've done with all this, then you're practically ready to schedule the interview, and the whole process will technically take you no more than 4 days, I would say. Like pay the service fee, everything is online, and then create the DS-160. You can do it like in a couple of hours, especially if you already have like the pictures and everything. And then you come back to the ustraveldocs.com website, and then you log in, and then you basically put like some information for you to schedule the interview. And then if you actually have a slot for the next day or 2 days afterward, you are actually going to do for the interview itself. And then once you got received a white sheet of paper from the visa consul officer, that means you are granted with the visa. And then from there, either you want to there are two options for you to take your passport back. Either they mail it to your address, or you can pick it up at the U.S. Embassy. And again, all this process is not taking more than 1 week. So that's that. All right. Do you have any other question?
Yes. So we have, let me scroll up. We have Arvin okay, wait. So we have the next question here from Adi. When will I be able to apply a USA visa during this COVID situation? I think you covered this. And then there is another 2 questions from him, which is how long does it take to get your J1 visa after you submit your application? And how do I track my I-20 document? That's it.
So you're asking about J1, and then you're also asking about I-20. I just want to clarify that those are 2 different things. So I-20 is only for those who want to apply for F1. If you want to apply for a J1, you are not going to get I-20, but you're going to get a DS 2019. It's not an I-20, all right? How long does it take usually to get your visa? Again, like I said earlier, is very fast. Once you get this document, either the DS 2019 or the I-20, you can actually start your application right away. Within 1 day, you can actually, or 1 or 2 days, you can actually schedule your interview for the next coming days, right? And then after that, once you get the white sheet of paper, that means you got accepted, and then you're pretty much like good to go. You just need to wait for your passport with your visa stamped in it. All right.
Okay, so next up we have questions from Mas Arif. So I think we met Mas Arif before, and he wants to ask you directly. So I'm gonna unmute him. Our team will unmute him, and he can ask directly from his Zoom. Hi, Mas Arif.
Hai, Mbak Veena. I forget what I want to ask.
Okay, so you asked about your final degree transcript.
Yeah.
You have to submit as soon, and J1 and J1 with your program duration.
Yeah. Do I need to send my degree as soon as possible because I cannot get it right now. I'm at home in Bandung, and it is in my office in Jakarta. So is it requirement for my visa process? That's my question. I mean, or can I send it later?
So that is definitely something that you can ask the university about it, since you cannot apply for a visa anywhere because currently the visa appointment is not available. And then I'm pretty sure the university will completely understand if you ask them to give you more time, because with the current situation there might be some delay for you to retrieve the transcript. All right. So that will be the answer. We actually have like a lot of questions that I think I am going to just pick the one that is kind of like related to what we have tonight. How long J1 visa lasted, and what about F1 visa? Okay, so that's another good question. So actually with J1, it's actually 1 year. And then I know some people might be, wait, hold on, but if my program is actually 2 years, how does that work? So here's the thing. The visa will valid for 1 year, but if you are maintaining your student status and you do not leave the USA, you can still stay with your expired visa with those two things. You still maintain your status. You do not violate your status, meaning that you're still the country of the US. So, and then you are still allowed to actually use or stay in the US, although your visa is already expired. With F1, however, once you apply for an F1, you will automatically get 5 years. But it doesn't mean that if your program is 2 years, that means you can overstay for the next 3 years after you graduate. No, it's just that you get 5 years, but if you are basically done within 2 years, you can actually, and then you're planning to do OPT, then that, that 5 years under your visa will count to that OPT. All right. We got Arfin here. I mentioned earlier about this is like a perfect timing for you to start your application process, because a lot of universities are waiving their standardized tests like the GRE and GMAT. And then Arfin Raharja here is asking, do they also waive the TOEFL IBT? Unfortunately not, because that is their way, or maybe their only way to actually know that you are able to use English in the English-speaking country environment. So far, they do not waive TOEFL or IELTS, so the English standardized test is still there. All right. Santika, is there anybody else? While I'm actually just pick one that is...
Yeah, I think you can see the question as well. So your next question will be from Fabrina, right?
Fabrina, do we know if we will still need to repeat the vaccination if you won't depart within 6 months, or we'll still set even if on the defer? That is actually very technical. I don't have the answer for you for that at this point, because I don't know how long the university is asking that vaccination proof to be valid for. But feel free to come back to us by emailing us, and then we can get back to you and we can check real quick. But again, that's also definitely something that you might want to contact the university as well.
Okay.
We got here. Let me see the. Okay, yeah, we got a couple of questions here. Through Fulbright, do you think it's still okay for grants to contact university directly? Okay, this is actually a good question. Well, not really related to what we have tonight, but basically a question. Through Fulbright, do you think it's still okay for grantees to contact university directly, or we better to wait for Fulbright official announcement? So, well, technically with Fulbright, you want to wait until you get the Fulbright, until you are awarded, and then the Fulbright team will actually help you every step of the way in the universities that you're going to apply and so on. But we also know that there are a number of that Fulbright allow the students to do direct apply. If I'm not mistaken, that's a term that they're using, meaning that they allow you to actually just do a direct application. So yeah, and we actually see a number of Fulbright awardee from last year who are planning to do direct application. So the answer is yes. Do you know if the 2020 Fulbright grantees will depart altogether as usual, or depends on the Fulbright official announcement? I don't have the answer for that. You will definitely want to check with the Fulbright team, but mostly they are very clear about, if you're applying for Fulbright in 2020, that means that you're going to depart in 2021, not before, not after. if the university is offering to study online partially or a year deferment, which one do you prefer? The scholarship allows both based on the university permission. This is from Irfan Hassan. This is actually the answer that you're the one who has the answer. If you're asking me personally, I'm not a big fan of actually taking classes online. There's a reason why people want to be physically being in the US. But then, of course, with the current situation, it's really hard to say. But then again, I mentioned this earlier that if it's me, if it comes to me, I would choose the deferral to next year so that I can basically be present in the US. But if for some reason you think that wait out for another year is not worth it, then I would definitely go ahead with the online. Hopefully it's only one semester, which is for fall 2020, and let's hope that by spring or even by fall 2020 that it's no longer online and everything can be done in person. All right. Let's see here. This is a good question. Should dependent or F2 depart at the same time with F1? If F1 study with scholarship, what is the common financial requirement for dependent to get F2? So for F2, you don't have to leave together with F1. So you can leave later on if for some reason you can't leave together. What is the common financial requirement? I read this somewhere, but I don't want to say because I need to double check again. Please email us, and then I will get back to you as in the financial requirement when it comes to F2. Because if I'm not mistaken, because I'm thinking like what is going on with like the LPDP, because a lot of the award is actually bringing in spouses. There is this information about it, but either the LPDP will actually give the letter of like sponsorship or something like that. But yeah, I'll need to get back to you on that. Juanita Halim asking, can I apply for the F1 or should I apply for a J1? It really depends. If you have the choice, if you're the option to choose, I would say if you are going to depart to the US on your own, meaning you're not going to bring anybody with you, I would pick F1. But if you want to bring your dependent or spouse, maybe J1 would be good because the spouse with J2, they are allowed to work. But with F2, they are not allowed to work. And with J2, it's more flexible when it comes to the spouse because you are allowed to work, you are allowed to take some classes, not getting a degree, but like, participate in like classes. But with F2 is very limited. You are not allowed to work, you're not allowed to, like take classes and stuff like that. So again, if you're basically going to go on your own, I would definitely pick F1 because that option for OPT. Whereas with the J1, it's a bit more, sometimes you kind of like just need to go back to Indonesia right away. Let's see here. The university offers online learning. From David Orlando Kurniawan, if the university offers online learning while waiting for the pandemic to be over, is visa application is still required? The answer is no, because again, let's say it will be online classes in fall, and then let's say that the visa is still not available. The U.S. Embassy in Indonesia is still closed for visa appointment. First of all, there is no way for you to apply. But even though you are already in the middle of taking classes online, but the U.S. Embassy is already open for visa, you don't have to apply for a visa because you're applying for a visa so that you can be in the US. So I would say that it's totally okay at that point. But if, let's say, you're going to depart in the middle of the study, we don't know yet at this point, or you're going to just technically taking the whole fall via online, so that means you're going to depart to the US in spring. So then, yeah, after that, you will want to apply for the visa. The university is reluctant to answer this because they have yet to announce their decision. Yeah, I'm actually, there are a lot of universities at this point can't really answer this problem as well, because they are so, like, from one embassy to another embassy, they have like their own regulation. At this point in Indonesia, they are currently not open. So then this can be also confusing from the university side, because maybe some other countries they will open very soon and then not in Indonesia. But then at the same time, they need to have like one rule for all. So make sense that the university don't have the answer for this. But then at this point, just follow whatever that is that the university is asking you. If you decide that you're going to take it this fall, then it will, there are possibilities that you're going to take it online. What type of interview are we recommend to join before? What type of interview are we recommend to join before we pay for the reciprocal fee? So technically, the reciprocal fee is something that you will only pay after you are granted the visa. So how you can get granted, how can you get the visa is by doing the visa interview. So I think that's like what you're asking. So there is no other interview. Basically, it's just like a visa, like a common visa interview. All right. Is F1 or, yeah, for Andy Farid, is F2 or J2 allow spouse to work in the US? Something that I just covered. So basically with F2, you're not allowed to work. With J2, yes, the spouse is allowed to work, but you want to be careful. You do not want to work. You don't want your spouse to work to fund your living costs. So basically with J2, you're going to apply for a EAD. It's an employment authorization from the US government that will basically allow you to work. Okay, I'm checking with the team here. I think that's basically it. Some of the questions, right, Santika? Is there anyone else?
So I'm looking at if F2 or J2 allows spouse to work in the USA, and I think you just answered that, right? Just want to make sure.
Which one? Sorry?
You just answered the F2 and J2 allowed to be, okay. So yeah, I think that's it for today, and we have 5 minutes left. And I thank you everybody for joining. And the chat box is so crowded, and unfortunately, if I missed anything, I'm sorry, and I will make it up to you by replying to your email. So I'll put down the email and the Zoom ID, right, Veena, so they can meet us anytime they want. So yeah, I'll give it back to Veena for the last 4 minutes. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, guys, the whole point for this session tonight is I want to let everyone, especially those who already get accepted, and actually still see some of you guys here in the Zoom. Hi, you guys. Again, congratulations on your admission. I know it's very frustrating, and basically some of the questions that you have regarding the current situation, I don't really have like a good news to answer that, because my answer would be we just have to wait it out. I really hope the pandemic will be over very, very soon. And again, this is like a very frustrating time, not only for us, not only for you guys, not only for the university. It's basically for everyone. But just to let you guys know that any new update that we hear regarding the situation, we will definitely let you guys know. So then again, if you are here and you have not shared with Santika or myself that you already get accepted, please let us know, because we will put you in a different database for everyone who already got accepted. So that way, instead of like emailing one person at a time, we can basically just share to everyone who already got accepted on any updated news. All right. So that's that, and please stay in touch. Although we can't meet in person, but I don't know, like say hi in email or send me WhatsApp. Just don't give up yet. I know this situation is very unfortunate, but let's wait, and the one thing that I really hope is our PDO, because like all this time, like I keep saying to everyone that the pre-departure orientation is my favorite time of the year, because that's basically like the time when you guys are basically come to America, and then we'll give you a name tag for everyone who already got accepted. Another amazing way for you guys to networking, so that you guys are not alone. Like now it's great that you got accepted, but sometimes we may feel kind of like, oh my god, I don't know anybody who is also leaving. And for example, I got one of my advisors emailing me kind of university that she got accepted, and the answer is no at that time, but I told her to keep checking with me, because we might receive more good news from some of our advisors in the at least for next month, where they are telling us that they already got accepted. Because like the month of March, April, and May are basically the time when the universities are giving you guys the result. All right. So again, if you also want to ask some technical question about F1 or J1, I did touch upon that topic a little bit more tonight. But if you want to know more, please let me know. Let's schedule an appointment, a one-on-one appointment, or if you want me to connect you, let's say, with the other students that already got accepted. Let's do that. Maybe we can do it separately via Zoom for those of you who already got accepted, and maybe we can share some of the news. And last but not least, if you actually heard something from the universities, please let us know, so that's something that we can also share with our contact. All right. Thank you guys so much for attending this session. Really appreciate it. If you're watching us from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the Instagram has stopped a couple of minutes ago, because we only have like 1 hour for that session. We kind of like have more tonight, but yeah, let us know. Let's talk via Zoom after this tomorrow and the next days, if you have some other questions. All right. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate your time. And I'm going to give you back to James.
All right. Thank you very much, Veena and Santika, for such an informative session. It's always great learning more about education in the United States. Earlier in the event, we asked you guys, true or false, Johns Hopkins University shares examples of admissions essays that work on their website. And the correct answer is true. As of now, you can visit their website to see essays from the class to the year 2019. Now, shout out to Argado Schwarzkopf Marmata for answering correctly. Thank you to everyone who has participated. Don't forget to tune in next time and catch a chance to be getting a shout out from us. Now you may be wondering, how can I create an awesome idea for a place like this? Don't worry, all you need to do is visit our website at www.atamerica.or.id, select create a program, and click collaborate with us. All event proposals coming to us will be reviewed, and your event might be featured here soon. You can also subscribe to our newsletter on our website for all our weekly event updates sent straight to your inbox. That wraps this episode. It's been fun, but we have to say goodbye for now. Follow our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook account at @ATAmerica for all our event updates, fun content, and so much more. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for joining. Again, my name is James. See you next time on EdAmerica TV.